Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a review on this bad boy right here. And this is the Ancore PRO. So let's go ahead and talk about it. First things first, when this Ancore PRO arrives, it is going to arrive in immaculate condition. You're going to see that there's foam inserts that are cut out and every one of these pieces are put in there nicely. So you're not going to have to worry about any damage when it comes to being delivered at your house. Easiest way to be disappointed, at least in my experience, is you order something, you're really excited for it to show up, and then bam, it's damaged. Then you gotta contact the company, you have to complain, and then whatever they need to do to make it right. I want everybody to understand what you get when it comes to buying the Ancore PRO. So we're gonna talk about the casing, we're gonna talk about the plates, talk about how the resistance is created. We're just gonna talk about the entire thing because that's what I do. Now, first things first, when it comes to the casing is glass fiber reinforced nylon. And I'm telling you, you could probably take this and chuck it at something and it's not gonna break. It is very well done. It's hard. You can drop it. You're not gonna have to worry about anything being damaged. Just a very nice material. I think it's being used in power tools and industrial tools as well. Before we jump into the type of resistance, let's talk about the plates. Now, the 5-pound right here is very easy to put this on. You basically line it up, and there is a left and a right, but in order to put this on there, you're going to line it up, wait for it to drop down, and then you're gonna turn, and you're gonna twist downward. So in order to pop it off, you're going to twist upward. In order to put it back on, you're going to turn it until it drops in, and then you're going to twist downward. It's actually super simple, and you can pop off all the plates at once if you wanted to. So I just popped off this whole entire side, and now to pop this thing back on, I'm going to wait, I'm going to twist, and then once I find it drops in, here it is, I'm going to twist downward, and it's going to pop in place. So super easy when it comes to putting these plates on. Basically, the resistance is torque-driven, spring-loaded mechanism inside here. And what that means is when you're turning this thing, it's generating torque. So as you turn it more and more, it generates more torque, therefore it creates more resistance. That is how the resistance is created when it comes to the Ancore PRO. Now, I want to point out that there is a resistance curve. It is not going to be, so if I have 55 pounds on here and I pull it right now, that ain't 55 pounds. Because I can't really do a tricep extension with 55 pounds. So basically what I'm saying is, when you first start off pulling this thing, the resistance is not going to be what is listed when it comes to the Ancore PRO. So if I have the 210s on here and the actual base unit is 5 pounds, it's not going to be 45 pounds right away. You're going to be looking around the 5 to 6 foot mark where the strength curve is going to be relatively flat, and that is going to be the maximum resistance when it comes to this device. Which is kind of cool if you think about it, because if you don't want the maximum resistance, if you're doing something like a drop set, all you have to do is step forward. So it's pretty easy when it comes down to it. The faceplate is a nice machined metal. It looks very nice. It's super smooth. So even though it's nice and smooth, you don't really want to have this cable rubbing back and forth on it. And that is where these internal stainless steel rollers come in play. Now I want to point out, when you're using this, you want to pay attention to where the cable is actually going. So I'm going to take some of this weight off here. So if I'm doing an exercise and it's left and right, if I'm pulling on this thing, you can kind of see that the cable is in line directly with that large front roller. So if I'm doing left and right, that's the way I want to pull. Now if I'm doing anything downward, if I pull downward, you're going to see it's rubbing against that metal faceplate. So you don't want to do anything going downward, or even upward for that matter, with it vertical. So you're going to want to change the orientation, which you can when it comes to this unit. All you can do is pop the pin out and position it, pop the pin back in, and you're good to go. So you want to pay attention when it comes to orientation, depending on what exercises you are doing. Like I said, left and right. So if you're doing something like a fly, you're going to want to have this thing, well, one, you're going to want to have the height position just right, and then you're going to want to have this with the vertical orientation. You can do flies if you pay attention to the movement. So for instance, if I step off to the side and I'm lining up that fly more in the middle of the unit, it doesn't sit there and rub against the faceplate. But in order to do any of the other exercises, especially anything explosive off to the side, you're definitely going to want this thing vertical. Now let's talk about the mount. The mount that comes with it is a strap mount. So even though their strap is well done, you'll see, I'll throw it on the B-roll here. It basically has rubber coating on the back of it, and it's nice and stable. You pop this thing in place. Once you put it on there, if you're doing anything like a horizontal row, basically anything where you're not going upward or downward, it works perfectly fine. But the moment I did something like a kneeling row, where I was on the ground and I was doing a pull, then it started to slowly work its way down my rack. And I really tightened this thing. I tightened it as best as I possibly could. So the strap mount I was not a huge fan of, but it does do the job. Now the rack mount, on the other hand, is awesome. They have a patented locking nut on there, so when you press the button, the mechanism is spring-loaded. Basically a half diameter when it comes to being threaded inside. And once you let go of that spring, it locks onto the bolt, and then you can just twist it a couple times and it'll lock this bad boy in place. Same thing when it comes to removing it. Actually unscrew it first, just a little bit, and then you can pop the pin, pull that thing off, and then you can reposition it. They did a really good job when it comes to the rack mount. Honestly, this thing works awesome. Basically, if you have a 2 to 4 inch rack, and it's 5/8 or 1 inch holes, basically this thing will work when it comes down to it. Now, what type of exercises is this thing good for? Well, they have over 200 exercises on their website when it comes to the library, but I would say where this thing shines is going to be stuff like rehab, sports specific. Where I first saw this thing was actually in Eric Cressy's gym and Mike Boyle's gym. I follow both of them. And this is something that I noticed right away. I was like, wow, how the heck are they doing a cable exercise with no cable machine? And then I saw this thing and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I almost bought this thing, but my girlfriend said no. She's like, you got a functional trainer, you have a single stack, you don't need another cable machine. Thankfully, I was able to work with Ancore and provide an unbiased review, and they went and sent me this along with the power mount rack. So then my girlfriend couldn't say nothing because I was sent it. Now, when it comes down to it, they did a very good job when it comes to this unit. Now we're talking about exercises, so we're talking about rehab. It's very good for rehab, sport-specific exercises, golf. Not so much for strength training because the resistance is only 55 for the standard or 65 for that maximum resistance. And depending on what exercise you're doing, when it comes to accessory work, if you're doing bicep curls, tricep extensions, if you're doing shoulder exercises, I mean, 65 pounds, 55 pounds, that's plenty of resistance. But if you're doing nothing but strength training, then yeah, the unit is probably not going to be the best for you. But I still think for accessory work, rehab exercises, sport-specific training, especially golf, I mean, this thing is going to be awesome. I did some explosive exercises, basically an explosive twist, and it handles it very well. Compared to something like my functional trainer, it's kind of jerky when you do it on the functional trainer, especially with my 2-to-1 ratio. But this thing, due to the fact that it has the constant eccentric, isometric, and concentric when it comes to this torque-driven resistance spring system, it's super smooth. It's like butter, especially when it comes to these internal rollers inside. When it comes down to it, this unit does have a warranty. So there's a 1-year warranty when it comes to the cable itself. And the cable itself is, I have to read this, so I'm gonna throw some cool B-roll on there. But the cable is made out of polyester twill. Core is Dyneema. UHMWPE, which is ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. It's rated for over 1,000 pounds. Now, as long as you're paying attention and making sure this cable isn't rubbing back and forth on the faceplate and you're using the rollers, keeping everything in line, and this cable is going to last for quite a while, especially in a home gym setting. But if this thing goes after the 1-year warranty, it's $35. You contact Ancore and they will go ahead and take care of this thing for you. So you send it off, it's 35 bucks. They will get it, they'll replace the cable for you and send it back to you. And if you want it expedited, you can pay $70 and they'll get it to you a lot faster. Otherwise, there's a 2-year warranty on the plates, the casing, and basically the main unit itself. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the price of the Ancore PRO. If you're looking at the 55-pound resistance model, you're looking at $699. If you want 65 pounds of resistance, you are looking at $798. If you want the strap mount that I was talking about, that is an additional $169. If you're just buying the Ancore with just the standard model, I think it's around $30 for shipping. So I mean, overall, it's not too bad. It is a premium item, so that means that you're going to be spending a little bit more money when it comes down to it. But the fact that they did a very good job when it comes to shipping, this unit itself is very exceptional. And remember the fact that there's a strength resistance curve. So you want to make sure that you're about 5 to 6 feet away when you're using this to be able to hit the maximum resistance. Otherwise, if you step forward and you're a little bit off, then you actually do lose some of the resistance compared to this. I know I've heard it compared to a band, but that is not the truth. The fact that it's torque spring-loaded resistance makes sense because basically when you're turning this thing, it's creating more and more torque. And when you are holding it, there's your isometric. And when you're trying to resist it, it's trying to rewind back on you. So there's your eccentric exercise. So there's that eccentric movement. So what do I think? Well, like I said, I am not here to tell you guys what to buy. I am here to do a review. I'm going to do my best when it comes down to it. I will answer any questions in the comment section, but it is up to you guys to use your hard-earned money and make the choice of whether or not you think the Ancore PRO is right for you. All right, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop me a comment. If you guys have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, I will catch you guys on the next one.